Hello and welcome everyone with a new Midnight Snack episode. I am Don and I'm here with my beautiful, intelligent co-host Bean. Hello Bean, how have you been?
Hello, I'm doing so well today. How are you?
I'm doing awesome and I know you have an update for us about our favorite criminal, Bankman Fried. I thought he was pronounced fried because he's a bankman who literally got fried. So I don't know. Maybe he should reconsider how he pronounces his last name.
Or in this case, he wants to be a bankman that's going to be freed of all charges.
Oh shit! Burned.
Okay.
I love that shit. A bankman who got fried but wants to be freed.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I guess I'll just do a little tiny bit of the backstory here. So,
He basically stole $10 billion.
he stole at least $10 billion. He was convicted in November on 7 counts of fraud and illegal wire transfer, basically in his involvement in the collapse of FTX and stealing, like Don said, $10 billion from people. Basically, he could face up to 110 years in prison, but his attorney filed a memo. He's asking the judge to reduce that sentencing, and he gives a couple examples as to why.
I know the main example. I know one. Do you want my opinion? What's the main reason? Why?
Sure.
Because Sam wouldn't feel comfy with 100 year. He would feel comfy with 5 to 7, Judge. I'm sorry, Sam, but no, 10 billion. Dude, I would sentence you 1 second for every dollar. You would spend 444 years in prison if it were up to me.
Yeah.
So, what's the reasons?
His attorney argues that that recommendation is grotesque, and he notes that Bankman is a nonviolent offender, and he also notes that the victims, roughly 1 million or so people who had their funds frozen while FTX was going through the bankruptcy court, are expected to be made whole. So he's basically saying, hey, they're going to get their money back, so why is my client going to jail?
But someone steals my car and I have insurance on the car, I would still believe that the police would try to catch the person who stole my car. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right. Also, he said that the probation office recommends that the court sentence Sam to 100 years in prison, and that recommendation is grotesque. He called the judge to reject the, in quotes, barbaric proposal for a brilliant, complex, and humane person who does not use drugs and rarely drinks, and this is his first time being an offender. So, come on, he's just a guy.
Okay, I have to give it to the defense attorney. Saying that he's a one time offender is brilliant because this dude was smart enough. If I'm doing something shady, I go big immediately. He didn't start small. You know what I mean? He was like, I'm going there and I'm gonna go with a boom.
Right.
$10 billion.
His attorney also wrote that he is not the evil genius depicted in the media or the greedy villain described at trial. He said Sam is a 31-year-old, first-time, nonviolent offender who is joined in the conduct at issue by at least 4 other culpable individuals in a matter where victims are poised to recover, or always poised to recover, 100 cents on the dollar.
Uh-huh.
He also adds a quote from Sam's mother, who said that her son, and this is a quote, has been racked with remorse for not having prevented the implosion of FTX and the damage that followed it. He has told me the first thing he thinks about when he wakes up and the last thing he thinks about when he goes to sleep.
Okay, this is a statement from the legal ethic professor from Stanford University.
Yes. There's
Um,
no conflict of interest about, her schooling or her teaching at all.
None whatsoever. No. No.
And then just another little bit that his attorney adds, he does not feel pleasure or happiness or joy even when something very good happens to him, and that he was diagnosed in college with a type of depression and he's been on antidepressant medication ever since. So,
I love that because there's this Woody Allen quote that basically says that money doesn't buy you happiness, but I would rather cry in a Cadillac than on a bicycle.
yeah.
I think that sums it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just the last little bit here, he also wants to urge people to consider Sam's charitable works and that he has his attorney also wants to remind people of Sam's credible Stop! Just let me do it. Okay.
It's my fault.
Well, it's very distracting when I'm trying to correct myself. The attorney also wants to remind people of Sam's charitable works and how he's demonstrated his commitment to others over the years. So he thinks that with all of these factors, that Sam should be sentenced to between 5 and 6.5 years in prison. What do you think, Don?
My opinion here is basically the lawyer's argument that the people who got money loss, they didn't really get money loss because they're gonna get their money back, right? That's the argument here.
Yeah.
Again, then wouldn't it encourage every people to try something like this though? I'm just asking. I don't know what's what anymore with these lawyers and shit. This legal mumbo jumbo. The dude stole $10 billion. He should go to prison for 444 years, in my opinion.
Yeah.
1 second on a dollar. That's my opinion. I'm sorry. First offender, that's smart. That's actually smart. That shows he has high IQ.
Right.
If you go criminal, go big or go home.
Well, he can't go home because he's in jail. So,
Okay, he's a bankman who wants to be free.
Yeah. And the last little bit here that I have, and this is just so compelling. I mean, this is just like attorney overdrive here. He says that Sam will never be free, even regardless of his sentence. And this is the quote: he will be scorned by many people wherever he goes for the rest of his life.
Okay, so if he's never gonna be free, why not just stay in prison and make us regular people happy about it? That you cannot get away stealing $10 billion, so there's not gonna be a public outrage and everyone is happy and Bankman-Fried is gonna stay Bankman-Fried.
Well, let us know what y'all think in the comments.
Okay, sweet dreams.
Okay, sweet dreams.